This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
2 days until college football season. We're almost there. We've almost made it. It's going to be a fun Saturday to kick things off. Week 0, our appetizer for the college football season, I guess we'll call it. Because, of course, there's going to be a lot of teams that we want to watch, that we want to see, that we're not going to have in action. But I do think that there's intrigue with Week 0 and what we're going to get. Iowa State, Kansas State, I think is going to be fantastic. An early kick in a different time zone. I wonder just what exactly we're going to be able to take away from this game after it's finished. 2 good quarterbacks, 2 teams that I think have a chance to be pretty good this year, but there's still some uncertainties with them. That's every team in college football. We know that. But you're also going to have a full slate with Idaho State and UNLV. Dan Mullen telling us earlier this week that both quarterbacks are going to play for him. Fresno State and Kansas. Kansas, a team, Greg, that's been really quiet this offseason, which is odd because they've made some pretty good noise in the previous few seasons and had some good conversation before the last couple seasons. Maybe not as much before last year. It's calmed down a little bit, but you go look at that roster, and a lot of the guys that we were talking about helping them be pretty good the last few years are going to be playing football in that uniform this year. They could be a dangerous football team this year.
Could be. And with the G5 being, I think, pretty wide open, everyone seems to think that it's all Boise, Boise, Boise. I think it could go in a handful of different directions, including UNLV.
Ooh, that game next Thursday night, though. I'm just telling you, the team that I don't think people G5 are paying enough attention to is South Florida.
South Florida, Memphis, Tulane. South Florida, Memphis, Tulane, Boise, UNLV, and Liberty. Take your pick. Good with any of them, by the way.
I like what Memphis has. I'm a little higher on South Florida right now. I think all the things that we've talked about with Tennessee and the uncertainties of, do you have a quarterback that can truly run your system, that can be efficient in your system? South Florida's got that. They got a guy that knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They can run it. That's been in it. They have skill back. They have some guys up front on defense back, and I think Coach Goles is good. I think South Florida's one that, if you're asking me who's the team at that level that's not getting the conversation, that could be that team. Boise's, listen, they've earned this credibility.
They're Boise.
And it's fair to say they're going to reload. They're going to have guys that just want to fight you at the line of scrimmage, and physicality could be an issue. But was South Florida pushed around against Alabama the last couple of years?
No, they played well last year, but they also went 6-6.
So, yes, it's fair.
So, I mean, my problem with them is, okay, they played Bama well 2 years ago. Last year, they were okay, at least early, and gave a couple big plays. They got throttled by Miami. They got throttled by Tulane. They got throttled by Memphis. They got throttled by Navy. Like, they weren't competitive against some of the better teams on their roster, on their schedule, excuse me. Yes, they beat the likes of Tulsa, Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, UAB, Southern Miss, who was terrible last year. Who's probably don't sleep on Southern Miss either, by the way. They beat the teams that were not good, and they rolled them pretty good. I think it's a front running group. I think they've always been a front running group, and they might have a couple of games where it's like, wow, all right, flash, and then they'll lay an egg against 2 teams they shouldn't lay an egg.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a fun day. You'll get that one. You'll get Ohio and Rutgers. You get Lafayette, Bowling Green. East Carolina, NC State.
Could you
on
see
next
them
Thursday
beating?
night.
Could you see them beating Boise, and then losing the next 2 at Florida and Miami by 100, and then beating South Carolina State only to lose at home to Charlotte? Like, you could see that happening if you're USF.
It would not be fair for me to even give you any sort of assumption of what I think Charlotte's going to put on the field this year. I have not taken a dive into that tape.
Is Biff Poggi still there? No,
he's back at Michigan, I believe.
Yeah, he's at Michigan.
So yeah, once they made that move, I think I kind of said, all right, the interest has faded a little bit.
You're done.
Once they lost Demetrius Knight to South Carolina, I gave up on him.
Tim Albin is at Charlotte, formerly of
Louisville,
Ohio.
Grayson Loftus, their quarterback, by the way, former Duke QB.
He's the
Charlotte. So
I'm back in the state.
Back in. Locale and geography going to help them win some games.
As someone that lived in Charlotte, I couldn't even tell you
the schedule. Hold on a second. You mentioned they open up at Boise, at Florida, at Miami, back-to-back. South Carolina State, Charlotte, at North Texas, FAU, at Memphis, UTSA, at Navy, at UAB, and then Rice to close it out. Can we get a home game?
They play in Raymond James Stadium. It's barely a home game when they're home.
They got a pirate ship, though.
Oh, look how Buccaneer. Nah, they have 5 home games. That's brutal. I love how Cole introduces South Florida into the G5 conversation, and they'll start 0-3. Mm-hmm. I'll put the over-under win total in their first 3 games at 0.5. What are you taking?
I'll take the over.
Who are they getting?
I don't know, but it'll be one of them. Tell me this. You really think that Miami with a new quarterback, Florida with a little bit of injury concern, you think they're both going to take that team serious the first 3 weeks of the season?
I think after what South Florida did to Alabama a couple years ago, all the G5s, all the P5s have them a little bit on their radar.
We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. I'm confident in what Alex Golesh is going to have in that team this year. Also, Saturday, Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. That's a 6 o'clock kick, and then you'll get Stanford at Hawaii at 6:30 CBS or Paramount Plus. Who watches that game on Paramount Plus when it's on CBS? Like, who says, you know what, let's go over to the app instead?
I mean,
or were you just hanging on the app watching Yellowstone reruns, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's Stanford and Hawaii's on.
Paw Patrol's on Paramount Plus.
I hadn't seen the tape on the old Patrol in a while.
To be honest with you, we'll
Sky's
keep
still getting it done in the
If you want to bet right now between where I watch that game on CBS traditional DirecTV or on Paramount Plus, odds are probably on Paramount Plus. I am one of the problem. I'm not a cord cutter either.
Haven't had the subscription, so
you need to get it.
I'm not going to see those 2 Notre Dame games that are going to be on that.
Those are on Peacock.
Same thing. Haven't seen the subscription there either.
Peacock is NBC.
Send me the login.
Paramount Plus is CBS. And as someone that entertained going to CBS at one point,
what does Paramount
Plus
have? They have Big Ten. They have like their 3 Big Ten games for the year. That too, but yeah.
Paramount Plus has a lot of good games. A lot of Mountain West games.
No, that's TNT and HBO Max.
Paramount, I think, at HBO.
So I think a little bit, but yeah, HBO Max.
TNT just released the broadcast cruise like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
What? Mm-hmm. How did I miss this?
Yeah.
Who's on TNT's?
Golick Jr., Spikes. I know we're going to be on there.
Brandon Spikes?
No. Why would we care about him? Although
Spikes?
After that Florida documentary on Netflix a couple years ago, I would have loved to play with Brandon Spikes, I think.
Takeo Spikes?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
It's only Spikes we care about here.
Okay, well, when you say Spikes, like that could be anything. That could be the fullback on Little Giants.
There are 2. There's a Spikes in your era. There's a Spikes in my era. And I don't think we've had any others. So, yeah, no, Takeo's going to be on those games. And I can't remember the play-by-play guys. But
Golick Jr. is doing analyst work?
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think they got some guys, when you saw it, you're kind of like, oh, okay, they have a good little crew there. So we'll see how it goes. Trying to see if I can find the rest of it for you guys. TNT College Football. Where's the graphic that you guys released and 77 people shared that now all of a sudden I can't find? Either way. I have a question for the group before we get to Ryan McGee, who's going to join us. Interesting write-up on Diego Pavia that he has. We'll talk about that. If we're looking at the Southeastern Conference, and I want you to think about this probably through Ryan McGee. We're going to come back and talk about it a little more in depth. Wait a second. Tulane has a beignet chicken slider?
Where in their
stadium.
What?
It's like a hot chicken beignet slider. So 2 beignets.
Got it.
With hot chicken in between.
What kind of hot chicken?
Chicken
like Nashville hot chicken?
Yeah, I think it's got like a hot honey on it. Fried chicken, something like that. Intriguing. I'm intrigued.
You give me sweet salty combo. You have my attention. I will admit,
my antenna's up on that.
Yeah, that seems like something Cole would be waiting in line for at halftime, alongside Gerald Mincey.
Depends on the score, but yes, potential.
You'd be over there with the right tackle. You're starting the second half. Hey, what are you getting, bro?
Gerald Mincey. I didn't get that right at first, but yeah, absolutely.
I got you. Don't worry.
Here we go. Your TNT cruise quickly.
Let's ride.
Play-by-play JB Long, Coy Wire sideline, Golick junior analyst, Ali LaForce sideline. They're going dual sidelines for Big 12 games?
I don't know.
That's impressive. That's.
I don't know, but I love that. Dual sideline is where it's at. And Ali LaForce is amazing. So
great.
That's
then you
great.
Get Adam Lefko, Champ Bailey, Takeo Spikes, Victor Cruz. That's our studio crew.
Okay, have an NFL guy, why don't you?
I don't think they can bring in current college players to do this.
I don't know. NIL can do a lot of things now.
Yeah, they need guys to
Coach,
talk
I
about
can't
the
play
cap.
this week. Coach, I can't play this week. I got a studio hit for TNT.
They need guys that can talk about the cap, how to restructure. It's a new day in college football.
Can we talk about something important today?
Other than the SEC and how many teams can make Atlanta, yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. But do you realize that today is the launch of ESPN?
ESPN the app?
ESPN the app. The official launch today, the direct-to-consumer that mine and Cole's livelihood depends on for the foreseeable future, it launches today.
So after the Paramount Plus thing, it's actually better now to watch things on apps instead of.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like I swear to you, hand on the Bible, which I don't like doing, but I will in this scenario. Of all the streaming services that I could potentially subscribe to, and I subscribe to a lot, a whole heap.
Wait, this could be our Super Sofa streaming service of the week.
I do. I subscribe to a lot of streaming because I feel like Vince likes stuff on Netflix, JG likes stuff on Paramount Plus, May likes stuff on Hulu. It's like they all watch something different.
We are in the most confusing era
100%
of like two people in each, like one person in each household likes two things on every service. And they're the only ones that like it.
You know what's gotten even more confusing? Last night, JG wants to watch Power Rangers. Totally support it. Like if we want to watch Power Rangers, I'm good with it. But we only watch the original Power Rangers. The new era of Power Rangers with the dumb, Ninja Steel Dragon Warrior Power Rangers. We're only watching the originals. All right. Season 1, episode 1, when Rita Repulsa gets sent out of the deal and I had to fight Goldon.
Day of the Dumpster?
Goldon.
Yeah, Day of the Dumpster. Yeah, we watched that one last night. Anyways, you have season 1 through 3 of the original Power Rangers that is on Netflix right now, and season 18, but it's under a different like Power Rangers Then and Now.
Okay.
And that's on Netflix. And if you want to watch seasons 4 through 6, you got to go to Hulu. It's like, wait, I don't want to watch it. I just want to watch a couple episodes. The kids will watch the same ones over and over again. It's so confusing. But back to the original point is I do think that if you told me you can have just one streaming service, I honestly think that I would go with this ESPN direct-to-consumer streaming service. This is going to be so legit. They've added WWE. They have full SEC. You have now all Monday Night Football games. Plus,
is all of ABC included in this? So if there's a game on ABC, does it come with this?
Correct. Yes, all of it.
You're positive.
Positive. You have all the Monday Night Football games. You now have 12 more games from the NFL Network that includes a couple internationals. You have
Red Zone.
You have NFL Red Zone. You have MLB TV. You have golf,
WNBA,
PGA Tour Plus.
Why are you skipping that?
Because I don't watch it. I don't care. I mean, you have NBA Finals, which I do watch. It's like all my favorite stuff is under this umbrella. You also have UFC, which I've enjoyed from time to time in the past. You have all the Disney stuff for the kids.
I remember telling you 3 or 4 years ago, because you used to be like I was about 8 or 9 years ago. You used to be a diehard UFC fan. And I used to be about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were going back and forth, and I went to your house to watch a couple of pay-per-views, and I was like, hey, I know you have one who's really young right now. Y'all are probably going to have more. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this is going to be the first thing to go. And
You're
like,
100%
what?
right.
What are you talking about? I'm like, there are just going to be things you have to sacrifice.
It's so true.
And you can't keep up with them, and this will fade. And you're like,
Yes.
whatever, I love Shohei Kamanita and Kiko Morgovich. These guys are awesome. I'm just telling you, man. This is going to fade because you can't keep up with all of it. You can't. You're like, whatever. I get every pay-per-view. I know you do now.
That is what you said was like a prophet. It was like you saw the future because 100% my interest level in UFC peaked during COVID, but it was on a slow ascent up to that level.
Because I lived it. I literally lived it. I was like, I got to see this. I got to watch every one of these.
Every weekend I spent $50 on pay-per-view. Every weekend. Like it was, but then again, I spent no money all week because there was nowhere to eat. There was nothing to do. Like it's like, I got $50 lying around. Done. Let's go. Plus there's something to bet on. So that was fun as well. And we got just absolutely roasted on UFC all the time because all it take is like for some massive underdog who's plus 500 to beat a guy that's minus 1,000. One roundhouse kick to the face and the guy's dead in the mat, and it's over, and you just lost. Lost on a minus 1,000 bet. It's just ridiculous. But back to the original point. Yes, you were 100% right. I do not watch it as much anymore. I've not completely eliminated it, but the appointment television that was the UFC, a lot of it has to do with bedtime for me.
No, it's fair.
I'm not staying up till midnight to watch a UFC fight.
But here's the problem. I ran through everything you did when news of this app came about, and you still have Sunday night football, which is huge, which actually for me is not a massive deal because I'm in Charlotte on Sundays most times, so it's not as big of a deal. There are playoff games, obviously on other networks, football games I'm referencing.
Of course.
But I will say this puts things as close to not needing an everyday television streaming service than I've ever been.
I agree.
Because the other games are the only thing that I need.
Which is probably why they did it, because they're going after the people Molly's age, Damien's age, that have a TV but watch primarily on a TV, on a tablet, or on the go or something. So having everything in one place makes it easier for them.
I'll give you a perfect reference point with this of where we are. We had open house parent teacher, whatever, a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
And they do, with your kids, they do this little quiz, favorite food, favorite color, whatever it is. And you take it, and I know exactly what my kids are doing. They're trying to put things that they don't think we'll guess.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what are you talking about playing cricket in the backyard? It's not your favorite sport. And one of the things was favorite TV show. And I sat there, looked at my wife, and I was like, I don't even think they have a TV show that they watch. It's all of the boys watch are Sports and Dude Perfect. That's about it.
Yep.
Like there's not like shows that they watch. The things that my daughter watches they're all either on the Disney app or something. They're not like TV shows anymore. They're all series in like lengthy series or miniature movies, whatever they are.
Right.
And so I almost couldn't even answer it.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you the last time my children watched something that was being aired on regular television, not sports. We just don't put it on. I couldn't tell. The last time I put news on was when there was a potential tornado coming through. And I feel like that was months ago.
Yeah.
It's the only time I put local news on. And I mean, I'm as close right now to saying I do not need a regular television service as I've ever been. And I never thought I'd get there because of games. Now, I will say I cheat because I have the MLB package like through the app.
You don't need that anymore.
But I can go. We watch. I will say we're not dialed in on baseball a ton. We have baseball on all the time.
Yeah. Like
my 5-year-old asks every time we're sitting at home, "Is there a game on?" Because he just wants it on in the background. He's a huge Orioles fan and he loves to watch the Orioles. And if they're on during the day, whether it's a 3:30 start, a noon start, we have the Orioles on in the backyard on the porch or inside, whatever. Sometimes he'll be at the counter coloring and he'll want it on my iPad and he'll sit there and watch. Like he loves watching baseball. So we use that a lot. But how many regular season baseball games are on FS1 or Fox? Like 2 a week?
I don't know. Yeah, not a lot.
It's not a ton.
Not compared to when we were growing up.
No. And most of the ones on FS1 are at like 9:05 starts, he's not watching those.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that you bring it up that way, because I think this may put me as close to saying I don't need YouTube TV as I've ever been.
Yeah.
Now I'd have to probably go figure out the over antenna thing again.
Get some bunny ears.
Put that giant bar up there on the mantle. So
that'd be a good look.
I remember when I was in Huntsville by myself, I had that huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
The antenna was like a ski, basically. And I had to get it. Sometimes you had to get it in your attic and then run the wire down to the television. Now they have the little flat things. I have like 7 of them at my house. We use none of them.
That's it?
I'm just, we need that one. We got to get this one. We don't use any of them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it is going to be interesting how many people we talk to that say, I don't do the regular TV anymore because I have everything I need, like you said, from this ESPN app.
I think this thing, and
we don't need Plus anymore if we get this, right?
You can get the Fox bundle with it.
Do we still need to pay for Plus?
This is Plus.
So all the articles and everything come with it.
Yeah, no, this now will include Plus, as far as I understand. I don't know for sure. I'm not
like this is going to be really.
I'll also
close.
say this: allegedly, if you have another service, YouTube, Spectrum, whatever, you get all the same features in the app.
Oh, like multi-view and the things of that nature.
All the stuff that's in the ESPN app, you get because you have technically ESPN through another service.
Here's a key question that I have, Greg. You might know the answer to this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pause? Can I rewind?
I'm sure, but I don't know.
And can you record? I would imagine yes.
I don't think you can record.
No, you probably can't record, but you have streaming available at all times, unless you're trying to download it.
But I'm just saying, like if we get Packers Giants and I can't watch the beginning, can I record it and then start it from the beginning when I go? You can start it from the beginning
right now. Like that's what you can do on MLB TV. Like when you click that game, you can go to watch live, or you can start from the beginning.
Yeah, but like the games I watch on MLB app, like I can go back 30 seconds and I can pause.
I would imagine you can probably do that. That
don't see
to
how
me
you can
would
have
be
a
an
sports app and
oversight.
not be able to do that.
That would be an oversight if you can't.
Well, the app's available. Log on and check it out.
I mean, this is as
I've only
excited
been up for like
as
4
I've been.
hours. So, I mean,
Give
me a minute.
This really is as excited as I've been for like an app launch ever. Like more than Disney Plus, which was probably number 2. I was pretty excited about Disney Plus because I was just curious to see like what was going to be on it, and I guess I just underestimated how many pieces of content Disney's produced in 100 years. Like, I mean, every movie I watched as a child was available immediately. Like, that's kind of crazy. And with young kids, it's like, this is going to be incredible.
Well, and some of the add-on stuff too, Muppets and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
you wouldn't have
Star
normally
Wars,
thought was going to be there. Now it's there. I will say in my house, if I had to guess, we use that app more than any other app, not YouTube TV.
Probably.
Because I put YouTube TV on still again, like if it's random golf, if it's sometimes I just try to go put live sports on because we're not watching, Destinies of Zombies or whatever, even on like kids channels.
We do have there's a zombie show.
Oh, trust me,
we've watched it.
What's it called? Not Armageddon's, Descendants, Zombies, something that the 10-year-old is into right now. And I'm like, can we just?
We've seen that. Is it where the guys have like green hair?
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen that. We've had that one on in the show.
They're coming to Birmingham on September 11th, by the way.
Man, can't wait to be there for that. I might have to skip that one, but we did get the request yesterday. Hey, Disney on Ice on November 2nd. We going? I'm like, oh boy. Let me get free tickets, and then I might.
All right, so when we come back, Ryan McGee, interesting write-up on Diego Pavia. Does he think Vanderbilt stays close to where they were a year ago, moves forward, and talk rest of the SEC? Here's the question I want you guys thinking about those we move forward. How many teams could possibly end up in Atlanta? Not that you're predicting, but just you could see a path for them ending up in Atlanta. The better question might be, how many would you definitively remove from that conversation? Would you say there is no way they end up in the SEC championship game? We'll discuss that throughout the course of the day. Ryan McGee with us next right here on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, and Three-Man Front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
I almost want to get Pash on just to tell that story. If that is how it went down.
At some point, I think we could probably make that happen.
Okay, we'll get that done. 7:28, Thursday, August 21st. A little bit behind for Ryan McGee to join the show, but he's going to be with us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Ryan, I've told a few people, one of my biggest surprises at SEC Media Days, and there were a lot of things that were discussed that people didn't know or didn't think was real or weren't really given proper respect, was I feel like every time I did an interview with somebody that when we looked around and talked about Vanderbilt, they immediately sort of brushed them to the side and said, yeah, but that's they're back to, and like, I mean, I talked to Jordan Rogers about him yesterday. He's like, look at the offensive production down the stretch. Like, I don't think it's going to be that great. I don't think they're going anywhere. I definitely don't think they go backwards. You have an interesting write-up on Diego Pavia here recently. What's your true expectation for the Commodores this season?
Well, I mean, if honestly, and I appreciate you mentioning the story, and good morning, boys. And, to hear him talk, they're going to win 12 games and go to the playoff, and he's going to win the Heisman. I don't think that's probably how that's going to go down. But I think that if the college football tooth fairy came to them right now and they said, you guys can win 7 games and win another bowl game, and you can pull off an upset that's going to get everybody's attention, and at least listen, Vanderbilt's goal is to be in the conversation. Like, let's just have people talking about you, because I think where that mentality comes from is, really honestly, since the 1930s, you just don't talk about them. And if they have a nice season, great. But just be in the conversation weekly. And they were a year ago, whether they were winning and losing, and it was because of that quarterback and because of that Alabama game. And so, yeah, if they have a chance to win, they won 6 a year ago, 7 years ago, if they have a chance to win 2 more than that, take that right now and go straight to December.
When you look at Diego Pavia's mindset coming into this year, it's so over the top, it almost feels fraudulent. I'm not trying to be like negative. It just feels like a lot. Last year it was like kind of fun. Now it's like, all right, it's taking it maybe a step too far. In your interaction with him, what kind of vibe did you get from him about his approach to this upcoming season?
Well, he believes it, and he's always been like this. Like that's the thing that I took away is that sometimes guys start feeling it, and sometimes he's the biggest story in college football, and we're effing getting turned and all that stuff after the Alabama game. He's just like that all the time. And when I talked to his family, he was like that when he was 6. And one of the main reasons that the reason he was not recruited by New Mexico, even though he grew up in Albuquerque and, had an undefeated season as a senior and nearly won a state championship, they wouldn't even give him a look because they said he was too cocky. So this is just how this dude has always been. And so it doesn't surprise anyone that knows him. But what's interesting is that people are getting a little tired of it. A year ago it was great. And then, he told me SEC Media Days. He was very vocal at SEC Media Days, and he's been on the podcast tour hard, especially all the Nashville podcasts recently. And then, he was kind of popping off on the Netflix show. And so what's interesting is I think if I had written this story, a year ago, and a lot of writers wrote about him right after the Alabama game, the reaction was, this guy's awesome. When I wrote about him, 2 days ago, a lot of the reaction was, okay, I'm sick of this guy. And so I think he's peaked in a lot of people's minds, and I think some people are going to be rooting against him, or, hey, Vanderbilt, shut up and go get back in the corner. But I also believe in Clark Lee. Like I think it's interesting talking to him about how he's changed his mentality. Because you guys remember his first SEC Media Days, he sat there and said, we can compete for a national championship. And literally people started laughing in the room. And that year they won their first 2 and then didn't win again the rest of the year. And so he has also kind of figured out, all right, this is what this job is, and this is what we have to do. And, the reality too is they're actually, for the first time since, the 80s, they're improving their facilities. I mean, they're slowly getting there, and Pavia has just kind of gotten them in that conversation a little quicker than they wanted to expect it to be.
Here's where I went with it, Ryan, and not that you really care what I think at all, but last week we were talking about this, and I'm not sick of him. I'm not really annoyed by it, but I do feel like it's becoming a bit of an act. And when it becomes an act and people react to it the way that you said some others are, it then becomes a distraction to your football team because people don't view it as real. And then people are talking about it in different ways, and that becomes a conversation piece around the facility. And I told Greg, I said, when you start to become a distraction, that's when we have a problem. You can think you're as good as you want. You can talk about your goals. The one thing you can't do is tell me that the standard is a national championship when that's never happened. That's actually not the standard. To create the standard, you have to go do it, and then it can become the standard. So the distraction portion was what I'm concerned about. And let's be honest, when has Vanderbilt ever had to worry about that? I mean, the one D lineman that said, watch out Alabama or whatever, the year they lost by 55 the next week. I mean, that's the only one I can even recall.
Yeah, I go back to old school when I think it was my junior or senior year when I was a student at Tennessee, and Jerry DiNardo took over the job at Vanderbilt, and they had won like 5 games. And if they beat Tennessee, they're going to go to a bowl game for the first time since whenever. And that's when DiNardo refused to say Tennessee. He just say the school in Knoxville or whatever. They took out billboards. The rivalry begins now. And I think the final score was 55-0. And so, and Vanderbilt did not win the game. And so there's only a couple times in the history of the program. But listen, if they win games, you guys know no one's going to care. Like no one's going, oh, well, you know what? He's pretty good. But if they start the year off 0-5, now all of a sudden, everybody's pointing fingers. But
it actually becomes more of a distraction then, if that's the case, because people go back to what you said prior. You're not even saying it now, and then you start having to talk about things you said a month ago, and that's even worse.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch because, he played for Jerry Kill and Tim Beck at New Mexico State, which is why he's there. He's got like a half a dozen teammates from New Mexico State, in the locker room with him. There's people that know who he is, and they know how to live with it, and they know how to compartmentalize it and all that. But there's also, 80 other guys in the locker room. So it will be very interesting to watch, but it won't be boring. That's the thing. Vanderbilt's always boring.
Farthest thing from boring.
They ain't boring right now. And so I think if you're Vanderbilt, you'll take not being boring over which you've been for the most part of the last century.
Well, the coolest thing Clark Lee told us at Media Days, and maybe I have a little bit more of a behind-the-scenes take on this, having talked to Clark a couple of times last year, having his games, and how he sort of readjusted to how he handles and manages his team, was he's like, listen, I need Diego to be Diego, but I want to help him be better and not become a distraction and maybe not say things all the time that he doesn't have to. But I still need that guy with the chip on his shoulder. Mm-hmm. I still need that guy that essentially hates everybody he's competing against, because that's when he goes out and plays his best. I got to have that guy. So it's an interesting conundrum of we want the talker, we want the chip on his shoulder, but it just doesn't always have to be in front of a microphone.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And I don't think it's a long psychological walk to, when the three of us have the opportunity to talk to some of the most accomplished people in the world. From Nick Saban to Rick Hendrick to, give me all these super successful people that I deal with, and they all talk about they have a recurring dream of they're at work and everything is going great, and then all of a sudden all the people from their hometown show up and go, the jig is up, you're an imposter, and they take everything away. And I think there's that in the back of Diego Pavia's mind, because if you know how he grew up and you know where he came from, and he's proud of that, but he also is constantly trying to make sure he never has to go back to that. And so I think a lot of times, guys like that will talk because there's always that little fear in the back of your mind that, man, I don't want to go back to where I came from. And, Nick Saban's talked about that, where he grew up in West Virginia, where he loves, but he don't want to go back there. And, my dad talks about that, about one day they all come in and take all your money away and take all the success you've had away, and you got to go back to that little tiny town you grew up in North Carolina. It's just, I think there's that in the back of his mind, and that's where a lot of that, whether he's willing to admit it or not, he's nervous, because the next 6 months, the next 5 months are going to determine whether or not all his dreams come true. And in the meantime, now he can also make some money. So it's a really, really fascinating study in this NIL era. And he's uniquely Diego. There's no question about that.
That's my biggest fear, though, is he has made himself into a real enemy, and I think guys are going to go after him this year. I'm not saying like try to hurt him or anything. Like I don't think no one has that cruel of a heart. Like okay, like I don't believe in like the bounty.
Say no one, but
well, I would think this generation
it's different.
Not really. Back in the day, 100% I'm going after his knees. Like, no way in this generation. I just don't see it that way. Guys have too much mutual respect for each other to take cheap shots. But I think they're going to try to make an example of him with how he's handled this offseason. And I just wonder if Diego, part of the reason why he's talking right now, because he knows he needs to strike while the iron's hot before reality sets in here in a week or two.
Well, he'll be in Tuscaloosa October 4th, and they're still a little mad at him down there, and so be careful. And they could be 4-1 going into that game. So it's going to be that game might be everything he always dreamed of, and then it might not be the dream that he expected to have when he gets down there. But we'll see. That's why they play the games, boys.
It's true.
Ryan, there's some interesting stuff. I know Pete Thamel had a write-up on Austin Simmons recently. You guys have a little bit more of a backseat view, discussion points with coaches, players at SEC Media Days. What were your thoughts on he and Ole Miss entering Atlanta? And since then, how has that opinion changed of maybe what he will be or that football team will be this season?
I think I've spent a lot of time in Oxford this year because we're working on a project that'll drop, in the middle of September. What we've been doing with Ole Miss, I have, and it's an interesting time because, I think the rest of us have big questions. But if you're in the building down there, I feel like every 2 years this is the conversation, and every 2 years, by the end of that year, we're talking about, Lane and this quarterback. Gosh, they just can't. They just read each other's minds. And so there doesn't seem to be a lot of concern. I think that kind of talking about Vanderbilt, what you want to do is you want to build the foundation. All right, this is the minimum of what we're going to do every year. So can we use this as a launching pad to get to the next level? And they feel like they've built it down there. And I don't know if there was any. Ole Miss is a fascinating place to me because there's all this history and all this tradition, and we talk about all these things, and the Grove is the Grove and all that. And then you guys know, you go stand in the stadium, and you look up on the Ring of Honor or whatever, and they got a co-divisional championship under David Cutcliffe, and that's kind of it from the last 30 years. That really is since Archie was there. And so I feel like they finally feel like they have this foundation built that they can use as a launching pad while they've had the greatest 5-year stretch in the history of the program. So I don't think they're worried. I really don't. And I believe it from them as opposed to them trying to sell it to me, because they're not trying to sell it to you down there. They're just assuming that you know what they know, which is they're fine.
So I'm going to ask you this question that we're going to have a discussion on for a lot of the show today. How many teams possibly could end up in Atlanta this year? And I know the smart Alex listening to the show are going to say 2. We get that. I know that. And if they can't understand where I'm going with this, that's their fault. But how many teams would you rule out and say there is absolutely no chance that they can end up in the SEC championship game? Because I'm not 100% sure I'd completely rule out the one that we've been talking about.
I feel like that's, and I'm not trying to dodge the question, but I was literally having this conversation on an ESPN.com editorial call yesterday, which is, I don't know, I can't remember a year where I looked at everyone and I have a gigantic question mark. Like everyone. The Ole Miss Texas game, or excuse me, the Ohio State Texas game is massive and giant and all that, but Arch Manning's thrown less than 100 collegiate passes. I believe he could be really, really good, but I don't know that. And at Ohio State, half their roster's gone. And we're just, so my point is that I don't know that we should take for granted that any of these teams are just automatically have a chance to go to Atlanta. I really don't believe that, because because I look at the list and I'm like, all right, Alabama I think could be better, but they could lose 4 late games again. I think Tennessee is in for a tough year, which I'm going to lose my diploma by saying that, but it's a fact. I need someone to sell me. I mean, LSU, I'm going to see LSU that Saturday night, and they could lose their 6th straight week 1 game. I look at everyone, and I think the question is, who do we think are those automatic? Yeah, well, they're automatic contenders for Atlanta. I don't know that I have the answer to that, because I'm not 100% sold on anyone right now. Texas is really, really deep, and LSU has got a lot of talent, but Georgia, when they're not getting speeding tickets, they're really good and deep. But have they lost their way? I don't know that there's any automatic qualifiers. I really don't.
Are you ruling Vanderbilt out of that?
Yes.
Are you ruling Mississippi State out?
Yes.
You ruling Arkansas out?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think there'll be another one. Maybe Ole Miss. Some people.
I think Ole Miss has got a chance. I think Ole Miss has a chance to at least. Like,
yeah, I think after those, it's going to be tough for any of us to say, yeah, they're completely out of it. That I'm not.
I don't know that Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's an Atlanta team.
That's a fair one. Yeah, that's Greg and I have said Kentucky. We have no idea. Like, well, we don't know what to expect. We don't know how it's going to go. We can't put our finger on what that's going to be like. So
to me, the encapsulation of the whole thing is Florida, because I think Florida, they could win 6 games or they could win 11. Honestly, and I feel that way about. I don't think that Texas isn't any. They're only win only 6 games, but I just think I have gigantic question marks, like serious, at least one giant serious question mark about every team in the conference. But yeah, but the bottom half, I don't think Oklahoma can get to Atlanta.
I would disagree with you there.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Brent enough that I wish that they would be there, but I don't think they get Atlanta.
Okay.
But I would give South Carolina a vote.
For sure.
I think they could.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, but I think that's why we have the chance for a run from the middle, from a South Carolina, from somebody like that. But because I don't know if the top, though they are talented, I still have these big ironclad question marks. And to me, that starts with Arch Manning.
Ryan, always appreciate it, man. Great stuff. Thanks for the time. Look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Yeah, go pack a bag, boys. It's time to go.
Almost. We're there. Appreciate it. Ryan McGee joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Some great write-ups on SEC football players at ESPN.com. You can go catch those there. Don't forget about our friends at Train. Don't let the heat and humidity affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years. They're the official cooling partner here at Jocks. Find a comfort specialist near you at Train.com. It's hard to stop a Train. We finished that conversation on who can make it to Atlanta. Who do we rule out from making it to Atlanta? 800-239-9569. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. More next on Jocks.
The capital of the sports talk nation. This is Jocks 94.5 and JocksFM.com. Birmingham.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We asked the question, how many teams could possibly find their way to Atlanta in the SEC this year for the SEC championship game? And the more difficult aspect of that question might be, who do you definitively eliminate from that possibility? We'll finish the conversation in just a moment. I'll say about Game Day Men's Health. If you're trying to get back to being healthy, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. This is what they're going to do. No charge. You're going to go in, free PSA test, free testosterone test. You're going to get your height, get your weight, get your blood work, and see where you are right then and there and say, this is what we need to do for you. This is how we can help you. They have multiple programs. The peptides are back in stock. Your body stops making these naturally over time. They get them back in, whether it's energy, whether it's anti-aging, whether it's better sleep, whether it's arthritis. They can help with different things like that. Also, weight loss programs, testosterone replacement. They just want to get you back to being a better you. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Tell them you heard about them right here on Mac and Cube in the morning. You save 10% on any service that they offer. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Sign up for the free consultation today. Why wouldn't you? We'll come back to that. We'll have a further conversation on it. Do you find it difficult, Greg, to say teams A, B, C, D, however many there are in the SEC are out in your mind, eliminated from even being in the SEC championship game?
I can probably get to 5 or 6 that I think we can eliminate right now.
Okay. We'll finish the conversation when we come back, talk about what teams definitively we do not think can end up there, which might leave the number fairly large of teams that potentially could make the SEC championship game. You be a part of that conversation as well. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Text in 205-834-9450, 800-239-9569 to join us on the Higginbotham Hotline next on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
Is this the second time you've done this today?
What? Play good music?
It wouldn't have been stuck in my head if I wouldn't have heard it earlier. Are you playing this for the second time today?
No. I'm playing it to get it out of your head.
That doesn't work that way.
Could.
It's going to be more problematic now.
You have what we call in our house crazy brain right now.
Okay.
Sounds like
This
the real
song
world
does it to
counseling
you.
Song's
Overrated.
Ripper.
Overrated group, if you ask me.
Matchbox rips.
Bromberg's is not overrated.
Nope, they're terrific. They're the only place I've gone to buy beautiful jewelry since we moved back. It's been amazing. Now 8-9 years we've been going to have the experience that we've had in Bromberg's, and honestly, it gets better every time we go. The best part is they're actually getting ready to upgrade and renovate the new Mountain Brook store. So you're going to have an even more elevated experience than you had beforehand. But the jewelry remains the same. It's still open. It's still amazing. They will do amazing things for you with their sales staff. So knowledgeable, priceless, one-of-a-kind jewelry, natural diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, you name it, they got it. Rings, bracelets, earrings, necklaces, they have it all. They also have a great selection of tremendous watches as well. So go and check them out. It's Bromberg's in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit.
All right, next hour we will continue that conversation on how many SEC teams can possibly get to Atlanta. How many do you rule out that you would say right now just definitively cannot be in the SEC championship game? I think it's going to be a pretty big number when you start to go down and look at it and say, yeah, I could see them ending up there. I think that's feasible. I think it's possible. So we'll have the conversation. When we come back, though, Matt Shodell covers the Miami Hurricanes. The buzz is getting loud about Carson Beck in Miami and how they're looking so far in fall camp. We'll get more answers on it right after this here on Jocks.
This is McElroy and Cubelic in the morning.